On gas prices climbing above $4 a gallon nationally, including here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It has many drivers doing a bit of a double take at the tank. So where could prices be headed from here? We're checking that answer for us this morning. We've got Gerson Gibbs, Senior Managing Partner at Bellet Capital, for some insight. Gerson, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so according to AAA, these are the highest prices for gas since 2022 as the war with Iran continues. Where do you see prices headed?
I see there's going to be a slight of a uptick as the weeks come by. I believe that there's conversations and a lot of back and forth, but I don't think there has been kind of an agreement or a conclusion to what's occurring in the Middle East.
Now, do you see a ceiling, so to speak, for gas prices?
I could potentially see a ceiling. If there's discussions that are still going to keep going and there's still going to be conflict, I could see there being a ceiling of about 450. If there are discussions about, potentially resolving these matters, I see it dropping to about back to the threes.
Okay, back to the threes. I'm sure a lot of people hoping that if they have to fill up, especially as of this morning. But talk about the surge in prices for diesel fuel and the impact there.
Well, the diesel fuel is the most important because that's how we get all of our goods delivered. That's what flights are using for travel purposes. So that's how we might see a slight uptick in pricing for our goods because it's just the delivery prices are going up with regard to what's occurring at the Strait of Hormuz. So we're hoping that, some resolution comes up very soon. But it seems like just the back and forth. Sometimes we believe we're getting a little closer. Other times we believe that we're getting a little further. And we're just hoping that, there's some kind of resolution in the near future.
So peak driving season actually kicks off next month, and that coincides with Memorial Day. So do you think using summer blend gasoline will affect prices?
Possibly. I still see there being a slight uptick, and I believe that consumers should just be a little more conscious on just traveling arrangements, expenditures at a time like this. I think it's just important to look out for certain deals, just to kind of maintain your money in your pocket while they come to some result in the Middle East.
And so we've talked a lot about how things are going on the roadways, but now we want to talk about what's going on in the skies. How has this impacted air travel?
Oh, with just a combination of what's going on with the TSA, along with the rise in gas prices, I think that it's a tremendous impact on flights. We're seeing prices not surge so quickly, but we're seeing a slight uptick, and especially going into travel season. We're in the spring and going into the summer, travel increases. So I believe that there's going to be some price increases moderately.
Now, Gerson, we don't want to just talk about the problems that we're facing. We want some recommendations. So do you have any for consumers and businesses?
I do. Look for great deals. Pay attention to what's out there. I think in circumstances and situations like this, there are different deals that pop up. People are looking at consumer behavior and noticing that there's a slight downtick in purchasing. I think that companies will take that into consideration. In addition to the tariffs that's been imposed following last year and early this year, I think there are going to be a lot of deals out there. Just look out for certain deals. Pay attention to what's going on in the financial markets. There's also opportunity to invest in certain companies like airline companies, so on and so forth, that are suffering because of the increase in pricing. So I see that there's always opportunity in this from a deal standpoint and from an investment standpoint. Just have to pay attention to them.
Yeah, some great tips there. And if people want more information, where can they go?
You can find me at www.bellit, BELITE, capital.com.
All right, Gerson Gibbs, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.